Here we go. So, yeah, so have you been like looking at this election stuff at all, or are you just, is that not really even on your radar?
I know that Biden is in the lead right now, but I also been told that in the past, whenever a Democrat president has been elected first, they usually finish their like 8 years. So that's pretty scary knowing that.
You're right. Yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
right. And that's
Mhm.
terrifying.
Listen, yeah, it's rough, but yeah.
But what, like, so what is life like in Canada for you? Like, what is,
It's actually it's I will say it's mostly different. I have friends
mm,
in New York, Chicago, stuff like that, so I get like the kind of perspective from the American view. But I feel like a lot of people here they care a little bit less about like stuff, so they
mm,
care a bit less about the elections, stuff like that. We're laid back. I could say generally, but there's a lot of bad people here still. A lot of people that
yeah, totally.
it's all over the place, But yeah, it's really great here. It's
What do
starting to
you,
snow, so
oh my,
that's bad. They got 3 centimeters of snow up here.
are you like close to the border or are you further up?
I'm in Quebec right now.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, so I'm kind of close. You could say to the border. I'm like probably 2 hours away from New York.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
right. So
yeah,
not so like just a few hours away from Niagara Falls and all that
yeah.
cool stuff.
Been
Dude,
yeah,
I hear
been
I hear Montreal is just beautiful.
it is plus the city. It's like a really like miniature version of like I could say like um, a lot of cities are. It's just a big city, It's like
Mhm.
Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal. It's nice to be in the city, but there's a lot more countryside in Canada. A lot of like Alps and like mountains, beautiful
Mm.
like areas. Like it kind of looks like Virginia, kind of like Maine in the
Mm. Oh
in that
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
way.
yeah. Maine is. I was up in Maine for a little bit, doing
Yeah,
some hiking up there. I
I love
anytime
hiking.
that I can get outdoors, I go.
That's cool.
Um,
That's cool.
but so, what do you think? What do you think it is about Canada that makes people so much more laid back and chill?
Well, for one, we're a lot less people. Like we're kind of like we're up there for one of the biggest countries, and we're only 33 million people. So it's a lot less condensed. People, I think a lot happens with the healthcare. We don't have to worry about surgeries, paying about surgeries. We don't have to pay. We don't need to, worry about a lot of stuff like that stresses us out.
Mm.
So also there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot more. Um, it's very laid back with jobs. It's really easy for us to find a job financially. It's really they really take care of us for the most part here in Canada.
Hmm.
So it's
What do you think if like if you could improve Canada in any way, like what how would you go about it?
that's a good question. That's a really good question. I'd say, can I think about this one real quick?
Totally.
Okay.
Totally. No rush, my man.
Hmm. I'd say, believe it or not, there's quite a lot of homeless people. There's a lot. It's very. I know. There's a lot of people out in the streets. A lot of people are struggling to. But that I'm guessing that's just like personal. It's just thrive that people are missing. It's the So I would say like helping a lot of homeless people. Vancouver actually is doing this thing where they're giving out optional services for homeless people to take care of a dog, and they get like a pension to take care of the dog.
Oh.
So it's so we're kind of starting. That was about like 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, but it's still a problem. A lot of people are unemployed and stuff like that. I find like if the government would take more time into the also the indigenous population here,
Mm.
it's a big problem. I don't know if you heard about that, but there's a lot of like you could say like concentration camps, like kind of like
Wow.
camps where they put the indigenous people and I mean, there's mold in the houses. There's like probably 80%, 70% of prisons are full of indigenous people. It's horrible, and that's
Wow.
one thing where it's been gliding under the radar for a little bit.
Well, so like this same kind of issues that we have here in the U.S. with the incarceration of black people
Yeah,
is very similar, but only to Native Americans up there.
yeah, and it's sad. I'm gonna say it first. It's really sad.
I had no. Do you? Are there like any? Were there like documentaries or movies made about that issue? Like,
Yeah, there was one. I honestly I could not tell you the name, but we had last year at my old high school. We had this it's like a week to like remembrance for like or like giving our respects to indigenous people, and there was this movie. It was kind of like a song ish like cartoon movie, if you know what I mean.
mm,
And it was this guy. He was in back in like 1980, and they used to treat them like it was horrendous. It was horrible, and he escaped from one of those schools that kept those little kids. They used to cut all their hair off, and indigenous people, they grow out their hair because it's cultural. And,
right, right, yeah.
he escaped, and he had 10 matches, and he was walking on a railroad to find a like other civilization to get help and stuff. It's bad. They strip them from their parents. It's a big problem. That's one of the big issues.
Do you like as I really like kind of writing out the names of movies or shows or documentaries or stuff. Like,
Yeah.
any idea of what it could be called?
If you, I pretty certain if you could type in 10 matches, like indigenous short movie, something will probably come up on that. It's kind of like a cartoon-ish movie. That's
Just
probably
gonna.
one of the only ones that I could tell you about. I wish I knew more, but you know,
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much, you know.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. So usually with people that I talk to on here, I have these kind of pre-written questions
Cool.
that I ask, and I have a lot of them. So I only ask three.
Okay.
So if you could choose type out three numbers between 1 and 48, I'll give you a
48. Cool.
yeah, 1 to
All right.
48.
1 to 48. All right. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't just finish it out and just do 1 to 50. You know.
All good. Let's see. 40. Yeah. Is that good?
Beautiful. Great.
Cool.
19. Let's see. Oh, okay. So some of these are deep. All right.
All
So
right. Let me at it.
yeah. All right. Number 19. Define what love means to you.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I feel like love is just one of those things where like it's not as much easy to explain as other subjects. I feel like it's just a feeling and connection that you'd have with somebody that you can't really, have with anybody else. And it could be fake, it could be real. Um, and love can be in different ways. It can be felt in different ways. It can be, I could say towards an animal, towards a person. It's like I love my cat. I used to love my ex-girlfriend. It's love. I feel is also it's overused a lot. Like people say, "Oh, I love this shirt." I love this restaurant. But like, would you really die for that restaurant? Would you really like go the extra mile to take care of it? To be in like the first caretaker for that thing? Like, no, you won't. But my mother, I love my mother. Man, I do anything for that woman. So it comes in different ways, and it's one subject that's really hard to explain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so many different kinds of it, and yeah, the thing that popped out to me, is like this idea of like, is it fake? Is it true? Is it fake? And like for you,
Yeah.
did you ever? Is there an experience that you had that made you question if love was real?
Um, Several times. Yeah. Um, if I go back to like the girlfriend sub subject, I'd say that a lot of times we don't really know what love is when we say I love you. Um, I used to say I love you every single time to my girlfriend. It's like it was a beautiful thing because I thought I loved her. I really thought I did, and I thought she loved me, and we'd have these connections where I'd look inside her, like I look inside her eyes, like figure of speech. It's
Totally.
um, but and then you start seeing flaws, red flags. And you can say red flags about anything. You start like saying, "Oh, I love this country," but then you start seeing red flags, like, "Oh, they're doing this, and they're not telling me." And like, so I feel like love peu importe, like no matter what, it's like build off a lot of how could I say this? A lot of I say subjects a lot, but a lot of
It's okay.
a lot of a lot of things. You know, it's
Yeah.
built on depending on the subjects, built on trust, loyalty, going the extra mile for love. You know.
That was yeah, very yeah. Well, yeah, it's yeah. From what I'm receiving from you is like it is people either respond to that question like they analyze it or they feel it. And what's
Yeah,
interesting, right, is like right is I'm just gonna throw it out there is like
for sure.
that I that feeling love for you, like to be able to feel it in this very moment, is
Hmm.
somewhat painful.
Hey
Maybe.
man, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all, man. Seriously, it's not. It's done me wrong lots of times. It's done me wrong lots of times. It's crossed me lots of times. You know, and it's. I feel like it's a drug. You know, it's
Mm,
like it's good at the moment. You know, but then if it ends or you start seeing the dark side of it, you know, there is a
mm,
dark side to love. There's a dark side to everything. You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one of the reasons I'm doing this channel in the first place is to encourage people to stay as open and vulnerable as possible. Because I think I feel like love and empathy is somewhat of a superpower for humans.
Totally, man. I totally agree with you. Seriously, really well
But
said.
I mean, it's really hard to do that when you've been burned by it, you know. So I guess I just want to say to you, like, don't close yourself off if you know what I mean.
I
I
trust me. I
mean,
know.
I'm awful at that. I need to take more advice. You know what I mean? But just throwing it out there. Um,
Hmm.
okay, number 26 here.
Cool. Let's do
Okay,
it.
what's your most embarrassing story?
This guy went from what is love. All right, all right. I'll take it on. I'll take it on. Embarrassing moment. Embarrassing moment. Um. All right. All right. All right. Embarrassing moment. I've had quite a few. I'm only 18. Shit. um. Okay. All right. One that I can say was okay, this is a funny story. So I was about 8 or 9, 8 or 9, probably no, probably younger than that, probably like 6, something like that, right? Anyways, I used to be like petrified of the dark, you know, like totally scared of the dark. I used to like it was nighttime. I used to have always lights open and stuff, right? And one day there was a storm out here in Ontario, and I was in my room. It was a weekend. It was all good, and I really needed to go to the bathroom. And I I peed in my drawer because I didn't want to go. I peed in my drawer because
No.
I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go across the hall to go to the bathroom. So and my mom found out one day. My mom found out, and I felt that's the first time I felt so ashamed. I was like, oh my god, like I really did that, you know. And like I think about it now, and I'm telling you, the stories never come out, man. It's funny. It's funny as hell, man. Laugh it out, seriously. But I used to be the weird kid. I used to be that kind of kid, man. I had a picture.
Wow,
Yeah,
isn't that something? Like, oh my god,
it's weird, man. Fuck, no, I say about that
that
shit.
something is just so scary, so terrifying that you wouldn't want to leave the safety. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like yeah, it was scary. I used to have a picture.
What do you think? Like, when do you think you got over the fear of the dark? Like, and what was it about the dark that scared the shit out of you?
Okay, my deepest fear is the fear of the unknown. So the fear, you know, of not knowing what comes next. You know, I can't like I still can't close my eyes whenever I go like in the shower or shit like that. Like it's just something like I can't really but like I've come I'm obviously not pissing in drawers anymore, you know. But
Hey,
you know,
if you are, hey man, we're all on a different part of the journey,
yeah,
dude.
I think I overcome it. I overcame it. Whenever it was another blackout in the streets, and I had to get home. I was 12. I was like 13, and I was out at my friend's party, like a birthday party, and my dad's a whole other story, but he kind of, I guess you could say, like, forgot about me, picking me up and stuff. And I don't have a phone, you know. So I was like, okay, well, I know how to take the bus. So I was gonna take the bus, you know. And then all the lights shut down. So I'm out here in the streets, and I'm like, I don't know like what to do, you
Oh
know.
my
And
God.
I so finally I start like looking at bus routes and stuff. I make my way, and it was just so horrible. I had to I had to well, first find the buses, which is a very hard task. I had to ask people around, you know, how to get here and there and there, and just walking in the streets, blackout, man. I had no phone, I had no flashlight, nothing. So finally get on the bus, and like this whole time, I was telling myself for the first time as a 12-year-old, I was like, you know, nothing's gonna happen. If nothing happened yet, nothing's gonna happen. I'm okay, you know. I'm gonna see my mom. Everything's gonna be okay. And I'm gonna tell you, I got home. My mom beat the fuck out of my dad. Like, she was like furious, you know. I think that was a big stepping point for me, you know. It's like I was like I went in the bed. I was so proud of myself. You know, I was like, wow, like I really did that. I was brave, you know. So I was super happy that night, you know. So it was a really turning point in my life.
Wow.
So
Dude, what a
it was cool.
story.
Yeah. So it was cool though. It's fucking scary as hell, but I was happy to overcome it, you know. And now I'm better. I can walk in the streets alone and stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, like, another thing that a lot of people talk about on here is kind of like the relationship with their parents, and
Right.
how supportive their parents are, or if your parents have been present in your life. Like for you, like, what is your relationship like with your parents, and do you think that it's contributed a lot to who you are today?
Oh God. I'm a real mama's boy for sure. She got me this chain. I love her. You know, she's like, you know, she's doing great. She got two jobs to keep the household up. I appreciate everything she does. You know, she's just amazing. It's undescribable. You know, I do anything for her. And like I told her, when I'm rich and when I am gonna be rich, I'm gonna spoil the shit out of you. You know? My dad, on the other hand, um, he just doesn't make the best decisions, you know. And I miss him. I haven't talked to him in like 2 years, stuff like that. You know, I moved out of my dad's place. He just did some questionable stuff, you know. But like for example, like I play football, right? And I've had practices last year, and like two consecutive times he's not picked me up because he was high on his couch. So and like my mom kept calling me and be like, are you sure you're okay? I'm like, yeah, like I'll tough it out. You know, it's okay. He's trying. Like I was just, you know, and my dad and my mom, when they divorced, like he said some bad stuff about her, man. He brainwashed my sister. It's just I don't think he's mentally well, and like he can be really arrogant, you know, and so, but you know, what's surprising is that I find myself really I'm happy that he's like that, and I'm glad that he's not making the right decisions, because for me, every single decision I make is in order to not be like him, if that makes any sense. So I
Wow.
better myself by his mistakes. So I gotta give it to him.
Wow, dude.
So
I mean, like, talking about like, the way that you're framing the things that are happening in your life are just it's so positive and constructive and mature. Like that's what I'm hearing is like life
yeah,
throws shit at you, and what are you gonna do? Are you gonna sit and like be defeated by it, or are you going to meet the challenge and be
exactly.
equal to it?
Do something about it. You know, it's
Yeah.
I try to run my life as being as positive as I can, and as like, cause like I mean, we only get one shot at this life thing, right? It's like I'm not. If it's lights out when you're dead, I want to make the most of it. I don't want to regret for the rest of existence. You know. So I make the most out of life, and I like it. You know, I wasn't like this last year. I mean, I got a court case coming up in a couple days. I've been doing bad decisions. Seriously,
Could
I've it's bad. and but I've changed my life around,
Would you mind
and
sharing a story about
for
this?
sure. No, it's so I this case it's for Grand Theft Auto. I I was it was here actually in this house, and I had a couple of my friends over, and I was hanging out with the wrong crowd. Typical. It's not an excuse. It's just I was just hanging out with bad people. So we went out one night without my mom knowing, and there was a Tim Hortons. You know Tim Hortons?
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, here in Canada, people were really kind of laid back, like I said, and the car was running. It was a truck running. And I wanted to act cool. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I wanted to act cool, so I look at my two friends. I'm like, yo, just like step and watch. So I go up, I go in the car, I turn it on, I just start going. And I got pressing forward, and I just got going. And we drove around 40 minutes around my neighborhood when finally I kind of like bumped the car into the snow bank type thing. And my friend had the keys on him, you know. And we were walking down the street, and the cop came up to us, and they stopped. They came up to us, and they said, like, where you folks coming from? And I'm trying to, like, because I was the oldest, obviously, right? And I was like, oh, we just came back from a party. We're going back home. And they asked me a bunch of questions. I was obviously so nervous. And I was just like, keep walking, keep walking. And they left and did a U-turn, turned the lights on, put us under arrest. So that's the case. I beat it finally. Like, I went to court with it, for, like, my first court date, and I got community work, and I'm super fortunate about it. God gave me a chance. I'm taking the most of it, and now we're just finalizing everything on Thursday. So
Wow.
yeah.
Like so through all of this and everything that you're talking about, like
Mhm.
what do you think is a lesson that you're either currently processing about what you've done, or just who you are, or like what is something that you're learning from all of this that maybe you could
Um.
share?
Yeah. If I could say one thing about that, what I'm learning from this. Well, for one, I'm learning to be really mature, make
Hmm.
make better decisions.
Yeah, taking
And
responsibility, right?
man, I was like, and I think about it now. That's probably one of the biggest embarrassing thing, except the pee story. It's and the look on my mom's face, like that's what broke me. The look on my mom's face, the look like, who are you? I didn't raise you. Like, I don't know who you are. Picking me up at 3 fucking a.m. in the police station. It's rough. So I've learned that life, if I'm gonna, live here and have, like, have a good time, and go through life, as easy as I can. I'm better off following the rules,
Mm,
and so yeah, it's
cool.
yeah,
Well, thanks for sharing
for
all of
sure,
that.
yeah,
And that's so. Actually, this leads us to actually a really great last question, number
for sure.
44. What is your biggest insecurity?
Biggest insecurity. Um, I was gonna say my hair, but that seems a little dry from all those subjects I
Well,
was
no,
talking to
well,
you
no,
about.
no, 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 no. I mean, you can have many different layers, right? We're human
Yeah.
beings, you know.
All right. Insecurities. What's fun is that I've overcome a lot of them. I've overcome a lot of them. Before, I used to be self conscious, man, about everything. How I looked, how I acted. That's why I was ending up with the wrong gang. And it's my biggest insecurity. I'm dabbling in between jealousy and my haircut. my
Yeah,
hair, my hair for me is very important. There's just one thing about your body I feel like it's just like you really like you love, and my hair, I just love my hair, and it's
yeah,
like
that's
it's got to
great.
be nice. It's got to be it's getting out of the ladies.
Yeah.
But so that's that. But also jealousy was a big part about anything, man. Like, I remember my friends used to pet my cat, and I'd be like, why my cat giving him so much attention?
Yeah, yeah.
Or go,
Dude, that's real. That's real.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
real.
Yeah. Isn't it so stupid too? Like all these
I
little stupid
know.
things where it's like,
Yeah.
wait, but what about me?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, even with, like, past girlfriends, it's been rough, and but here and there I'm learning to, overcome it. I've started, this is gonna be kind of funny to you, but I've kind of started this thing called semen retention, which is basically, yeah, it's basically like I don't, I don't ejaculate. And it's been proven that I've done a lot of research with it, and like it's actually, it's been weird, man. I've been attracting a lot of good energy, and even girls, like, they come up to me, and like, I've never happened before, and like, I've just been more confident. I would have never been able to talk to you, never, ever, ever. I've been on this for about a month now, 2 months,
Hmm.
and I'm so socially awkward when I used to, like, do it. And so that's one thing I've
Wow, that's really interesting.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's something that no one, to be completely honest with you, like not many people have talked about that at all. And like,
Yeah, it's
like
none,
I feel like a lot of people would feel very insecure talking about that subject. And
it's but I feel like people should know about this,
mm,
because 99% of people, they either, they flog the log, or they have a lot of sex, and it's if you think about it, it's a life form, right?
mm,
It's children, and if you think about your single energy that God's given you, it's trillions of energy, so it kind of links up like that, and I feel like talking about it will make, either like, now I'm getting it out on YouTube, and I feel really like, I feel like it's, it's God telling me that, like, maybe people should not really know more about this, but maybe like open up their minds, or like, begin
to talk
to try
about
more.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
try more foreign things. It's and like, if you can't do it, don't do it. Nobody's forcing you to do it. Nobody's forcing you to do this. Nobody's forcing you to get your ass up to go to school. Nobody's forcing you to go to a job. It's all you. It's all you. Nobody's gonna do anything for you.
Mm.
So yeah, it's been yeah.
Dude, this has been a great talk. This has
Yeah,
been
me too. I'm
great.
having a great time, bro. This Omegle stuff, I've been seeing dicks and stuff. My bad. I don't mean to, like, but
Very different from seeing dicks. Very
yeah,
different from
man.
that.
You don't say.
Dude, it's hard to have conversations with people that are jacking off. Like it's
Man, man. Tell me about it.
you like start telling them about like your story. You know.
Most people are even like, "Yo, you're fucking like weird, bro." You're like, "What do you want?" Like, all of us are like, "Why aren't you like anybody?" I don't want to be like everybody else.
Well, I do. I think that people come on here because they want to connect and they just don't know how to.
That's
Um,
that's very true, bro. That is, yeah,
you
that's
know.
true. I feel like a
Um,
lot of people are in the need of, like, well, I'm just here because I want to practice my social skills, and I want to talk to more people because I'm quarantining and kind of fucked up.
yeah.
So, but yeah, no, you're right. A lot of people are here to a lot of different reasons, but yeah,
Yeah, I think that like everyone comes obviously from a different perspective, but people are coming here to try to connect with people, but it just manifests itself differently. Like some people think that the only way that they can connect to another person is through sex, or
yeah.
by putting someone. The thing that I don't get is why people come on here and are so negative or so hateful.
Oh my
Um,
god,
they think
yeah.
that they can just dump hate here and it won't have any repercussions, but it does. It's
That's where empathy comes in too. It's a big part. Empathy is, like you said, like I was really like happy when you brought that up, because a lot of people just brush through that, and it's really important. It's like, why bring somebody down when you don't know where they come from, what they've been through. Like, it's just shitty mentality, man. It's a poor man's mentality.
it is, and
Poor
it
man's mentality.
there and it occurs in both. Like if there are a whole bunch of different tribes out there of people that label themselves differently, like like liberal or conservative or blah blah blah, religious or non-religious. But if you put down another group for believing what they believe, then that in itself is hateful, and
Right.
so the reason I'm saying that is because there's no group that doesn't have that, and we
Mhm.
just need to consider. We just need to think of ourselves more as more similar to each other than more different. Um,
Right. Totally true. No, I agree with you.
you know, and
Yeah.
it's very simple in theory to talk about it.
On paper, it's yeah.
I mean, because everyone will agree with it. But then
Uh,
when it comes down to actually putting it into action, what does it mean to actually, It means
tells a lot
to,
about a person too. Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, but so before we get going, do you have
Right.
any kind of last thoughts that you'd like to
I'm really
leave us
happy I
with?
met you, bro. This is like a refreshment, you know. I'm like, it was really nice doing this. You know, I haven't really been questioned like that. It's not
Interrogated on Omegle.
as you could say. Not a lot of people know my story, and I feel like if I have one like if I had something to say is don't take life too seriously. Don't rush things. Embrace the little things. It's important to because you're not gonna have another chance to. It's enjoy what you have. Be grateful to what you have. Don't look at other people and compare yourself. You can only be the best you. You know.
Mm,
So spread positivity, man. It's
dude, great.
a
That's
good
great.
thing.
So for the video, I
Yeah.
put like the country or the state where people are from. I'm gonna put Canada for you. What name do you want me to put on here?
For like my name,
Mm-hmm.
you can put my first name. It's Alexi.
Alexi. Okay, like
Yeah, Alexi.
okay, man. Well, I'll be posting the video. Make sure to
I'll
subscribe if you.
subscribe and check that out, man.
Yeah, dude. So it'll be popping up in probably 15 minutes or something.
Perfect, bro.
All right, man. Thanks
All right, man. Have
again.
a good one.
See ya.